Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. It is Wednesday night on that every other week that we tend to do this show, and we are called the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday Night Extravaganza. Of course, you know me. You may love me. I'm Menoth John. I've been doing this for year upon year, and at my side, in the catbird seat, has been the wind beneath my wings. The main reason the show's happening tonight, to be God's honest truth with you, you know him, you love him, the co-host with the most, Mr. John Spencer. How the hell are you, John?
Hey-o, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am drained. We were talking about this. Yeah, thanks, Legionnaires, man. By the way, your comment for "sound is good" was fairly hysterical. We caught that that comment in there, and I was like, "You son of a gun!" It got to be that way. Nope, but we appreciate you. We appreciate the Brushhead Nation, what there is of it, and we're happy to be here on a Wednesday night to provide you entertainment, fun, and frivolity as we have done for so many years in the past. John, we had good news this week.
We did have good news this week.
We had, hey, Talcazar, good to see you, buddy. Make sure if you're coming in, you say hello, because we're going to acknowledge you. Come into the chat room, say hello, make yourself at home, pull up a comfy chair, pop open a beer or alcoholic beverage or non-alcoholic beverage of your choice, whatever you want to do. We'd like to welcome you into the show because you're important to us. We had really good news this week. We are staring down the barrel of relative normalcy.
Yep. Bunch of good news on that front. I mean, there's a lot of normality coming back, hopefully.
Yep. Sanity may re-grip the White House. Yeah, I'll believe it when the hand's on the Bible and the swearing is over, but the long, dark tea time of our soul may just absolutely be on its way out the door. But he's going to salt the earth on his way out. There's no two questions about that.
Since we're the political podcast to talk on, I don't think he needs to salt the earth. I think his cult, and I'm going to call it a cult.
It's absolutely a cult.
Is doing it for him.
Yeah, it's absolutely a cult. He's the sheer cynicism of it all. Just, if I can't be your president, then by God, I'm going to burn the world down. It's just, it's just fucking stupid. Anyway, every now and again, you got to swear. But the other good, let's keep it on the positivity tip.
Absolutely.
He's on his way out. The other positivity tip is, hey, it's not often that you're going to see me raise a toast to a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen frequently on the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday Night Extravaganza. I am here to tell you. But what I am here to tell you is that Pfizer is got themselves, looks like a winner chicken dinner, and then the other company, whatever the hell its name is, Moderna, I believe.
Yep, that's what Legionnaire said.
Also, winner chicken dinner.
Yep.
And you can say what you want about Operation Lightspeed. You can say what you want about the corporate suits that run in there. At the end of the day, I'm here to salute the incredible virologists and every lab technician, every person that rolled up their sleeves and just took a deep dive into what technologies that, frankly, I don't even understand. I make little
Yep.
green beans turn brown so that you can have your morning giddy up. I'm an engineer. I ain't nothing compared to these guys. They're doing crazy shit that I don't even understand.
They're just doing the Lord's work. If not, I mean, they're doing great work.
You know what? They are doing the good Lord's work, because I have strong suspicion that the good Lord would prefer his entire flock not to be dead.
Yep.
John, I'm going to be on tonight's beverage update. We're going to blend this into a toast and a beverage update. I am drinking a cautionary tale. So let me tell you about my cautionary tale. My cautionary tale is called Hophenge from Deschutes Brewing Company. Deschutes is based out of somewhere. Bend, Oregon. I knew I'd seen this name somewhere before. It's an Imperial IPA. So far, so good, right, buddy?
I mean, if you say so, you know I'm not the biggest beer fan.
Oh, God. And I'm not even the biggest IPA fan, but it's an Imperial IPA. Tips the scales at 8.3% alcohol, right? Sounds good, right?
Get you drunk.
$5 for a 6-pack at the Piggly Wiggly.
That sounds good.
It was in the OMG WTF bucket of dead bread and other things. Because pro tip, kids, if your local supermarket has a day-old bakery or day-old whatever discount bin, check it out. Because if you have a freezer, that's where the bargains are. Because pro tip from your Uncle John, Menoth John, is that the freezers are the place to put your bread, because that shit will absolutely stay fresh. You can say fuck it to all the expiration dates, because that stuff, it's just like putting it in suspended animation. All right. Yes, we do have Piggly Wiggly up here. We have several. And there are 3 I can think of in Racine by itself. They are the dominant force in the grocerings around here. That and Kroger. Kroger bought Pick and Save, which is the other chain. Whatever. But so I should have looked a little closer, because it's like, how the fuck did beer end up in the reject aisle? So on the side of the bottle here, it says freshest within 4 months, John.
Okay.
Would you like to take an over-under on the manufacture date of the beer I'm holding in my hand, with an over-under of 4 months?
Oh, I'm going to say over, and I'm going to go so far as to say about 6.5.
This was packaged on April 2nd of 2019.
Holy!
It is a solid 18 months old.
I undersold that by a good year there.
That being said, it's not a bad little beer. It's plucky. So it doesn't taste terrible. I've put worse things in my mouth. I think we all have. And we're not judging by any stretch of imagination. By the way, the best thing to do when you're a parent is to walk around with a bag of cashews in your hand and ask your kids if they would like to put some of your salty nuts in their mouth. Never gets old. What are you drinking tonight, John?
Well, as I am running drastically low of alcohol and mixers, I'm having Dr. Pepper mixed with Fireball.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's all I have is Dr. Pepper and ginger beer and Fireball and straight up standard vodka.
Excellent. I did a funny thing the other day with a Negroni. I didn't appreciate the fact that it didn't completely fill my pint glass, so I added vodka to it until it filled my pint glass.
Most of my measurements are based off pour alcohol till it reaches this point, then pour the mixer, or vice versa.
Yep. You can usually get away with that pretty well. So on behalf of the co-host with the most, Mr. John Spencer, and of course me, to the virologists, lab technicians, and everybody involved from Pfizer and Moderna who are helping to bring our society back to some level of normalcy. Hey, Ron.
Ron. Let me say, if everyone worried about the vaccines, don't be. There are some guys who work on it who post on Twitter and said the biggest reason it takes so long to get vaccines made nowadays is getting approval for your funding.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth. They just threw money at this because it had to get done. So that's why it's going so fast. Don't let that assuage some of your fears.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what. I will say at least that part of what there was funding that went to some of these companies to help them with the development costs.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that that was well done from a governmental standpoint, the administration, Congress to a certain extent. Good job.
Yeah.
There, I said something positive.
Yep. A lot of independently wealthy people threw money at it too, which is good. There's a lot of good people. And Dolly Parton's enough like a national treasure.
Yeah, she is. God bless her. God bless her and her boobs. So, hey, Frank the Tank, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. You know, John, we got into a bit of a habit on the last Painting with Men Off John show of showing some of the things that I'd worked on previous shows, or at least talked about on previous shows, to show the paint jobs on where they ended up.
A little continuity going on there.
Yeah, you know, that's what we're trying to do a better job. So let's go over to the painting cam and let me show you Bam Fist and show you how he turned out. It's maybe a little bit washed out, but I'm very happy with how he turned out. This has actually turned out to be one of my more favorite characters from Conquest that I've painted. The musculature, they just nailed it with the definition in his muscles. Had a lot of fun with the glowing bits on his arm and on his chest and his little like ball there, whatever it is. Had a lot of fun with the green runes and stuff like that, and continued to work with ginger hair and really enjoying that because I came up with that color combination of the heart fire and a little bit of the ember, whatever the fuck this is, ember orange, and then a little bit of the murderous magenta. Oh, a seeker. There you go. I'm real happy with how he turned out. And then also finished the last of the treasure chests for Raya Quest. And I think this turned out really good. I went with to me it felt like it should be this combination of stone and wood. So that's kind of what I did here was kind of the wood in the base with a stone on the top here and the bottom top and the bottom here. But I had a lot of fun with this like little sun splash effect. It gets a little watered. See if I turn off this lamp, see if maybe you can see it a little bit better. But it kind of has it's lightest at the top and it blends down. Had a lot of fun with that. What I did there was using that white ink that Will Pagani turned me on to. Got to give him all the credit in the world on that. It's just the best way of working with white. It started off with obviously I zenithal shaded everything and then came back in here and used a little bit of white ink and just dragged it down towards the bottom so that it would be the least amount of white at the bottom and the most at the top. I put in some of that ember orange to give it the glow, and then I came back with white and once again started at the top and pulled it down so that it blended as it went. And it sure worked out good.
Did you say that treasure chest has the glow?
It does have the glow. That's right.
Oh, kiss my Converse.
So tonight I have two models to work on. I have a cute little model here. It's called Melvin and Mayhem. It's a gobber driving a steam jack, which is super.
Last week.
Yep, super characterful. I put him together on the last show. He's super fun. I don't know how much I'm going to do with him because I made a promise to Charles. This fucking model. So this is a Conquest. It is intended to be for Colossal Wrestling. I haven't played a game of Colossal Wrestling in
a while,
2 years. But what he wants it to be is to look like a World War II fighter aircraft.
Okay.
So if you remember, I forget if they were torpedo bombers or what they were, but they had shark mouths on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was they're kind of light colored. They're kind of light colored on the bottom, so that when you're looking up at the sky, you don't really see the plane.
Yep, and then they're more darker, sea colored if they were seaplanes over the top. So if you're looking from above, you might miss them because they
Correct.
blend in.
Correct. And the ones that I had seen were kind of a greenish color.
Yeah,
So
that works too.
so what I'm going to do on tonight's show, I hope, and not failed horribly at it. I'm trying to get the camera into a position that doesn't turn into just extended crotch shots. But what I want to talk a little bit about is I'm going to freehand this shark mouth. Okay?
You started already.
I started working on it, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. I took my model after I got done. Basically, what I did is I zenithal shaded this thing, not that you could tell, and went ahead and applied for my top coat. It is swamp ground, which is just a real nice kind of greenish airbrush paint. And then I used, I think, dusty ground or something like that, more Minotaur airbrush paints. Guys, if you're looking for, yes, the U.S. plane, if you're looking for an interesting line of pre-diluted airbrush paints that also work pretty slick with a brush, I'm a big fan of Badger Airbrush's Minotaur line. Give it a try. You might like it. Back when cons were a thing, I picked this up at Gen Con one year. It was like their entire line, and it was like $80 or something like that. And I still got it and still use it. The paints are perfect. They come in little dropper bottles. They last forever. And but then what I thought I would do is I would start sketching this out with a pencil. And I'd never used this technique before, John, because what I was thinking about was when Belinda Librarian and I did the mural in Kenosha.
Mhm.
I don't know if I showed you any pictures from that. Did I show you any pictures from that?
I don't think you did.
Okay, well, I'll show that. If I can't do it right now because it's over there, and
Yeah, no worries.
But so when Kenosha had all the unrest over the shooting by the cop and all that stuff, the windows got broken out of the Kenosha County Administration Building, which is in downtown Kenosha. Well, they boarded them all up with plywood. So Belinda had the idea that she wanted to paint a mural that would have some, socially uplifting commentary on it and some really kind of cool pictures. And she had this vision in her head, and between the two of us, we worked with some photo editing software, came up with a design. It was approved by the Kenosha County Council, and we painted it over the course of 3 weekends on this building. I'll show it to everybody on here in the near future, maybe next show. I'll get a picture of it, but. The way we did it was something I had never done before. On some of it, where we had, there were like these pictures of choirs. They were very kind of impressionistic sort of visions of what you would imagine a choir to look like. But they sketched them with pencils first.
Mhm.
And then we went over it and just used those as a guide. And it worked out really cool. I had never worked on a scale like the side of a wall. And so what I got the idea was here, maybe it's not going to be exactly what I've penciled on here, but at least it would give me a guide to kind of work from.
It's really more of a guideline.
It's more of a guideline.
Yeah,
and I thought, well, let's try that and see what I can do with it. So the way I'm going to so I sketched on here, I've got a bottom row of teeth, I've got a top row of teeth. And then I come back along the side here. And the teeth are going to follow back, and there's going to be black in here with a red tonguish area. And then when I rotate around here, it's going to be white teeth coming down out of here with a kind of a top lip that's going to come across here. We're going to repeat that over here and over here, the same on this side. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do on the show, is I'm going to start working on that. And we're going to open up the old wet palette, take off my glasses so I can actually see what the F I'm doing, and kind of have at her. So
yeah, fair.
We have some shit to talk about, though, don't we, buddy?
We do, actually. I was going to transition to that. Tell you what I'm doing. I'm currently painting my Star Wars Legion test squadron up, and I got them just about done and decided I really need to change some of the colors on them, like you do.
Like you do.
So I'm working on that. I just changed out. The gray was a tip for anyone painting something. using gray as one of the main colors seems like a good idea, but when you start painting all the accoutrement and equipment and shit, you really want that gray available to paint that because it's a good neutral color. It doesn't detract if you don't have any like, gun casings and binoculars and stuff like that. So using the gray on the main model becomes problematic.
Sure.
So I'm trading out for a good camo or olive green. We'll see what I come up with exactly, but so far early results are good.
So,
Speaking of
Yep.
Star Wars Legion.
yeah, speaking of Star Wars Legion, that was a hell of a con. See, folks, we just seem like a couple of amateurs on here because the quality of our work isn't that good. But that was a segue of professional quality, right there.
Yeah. So Asmodee, who is the parent company of both Atomic Mass Games and Fantasy Flight, announced on Monday that they are taking Star Wars Legion and Armada and X-Wing and moving it from Fantasy Flight over to Atomic Mass Games.
Of the Will Pagani Dallas / God, what the hell is his name? Will Schick
Will-
fame.
Exactly. The guys who are doing Marvel Crisis Protocol.
So
They're
that
doing
is
a bang-up job with it.
two massive properties that are
Yep.
ending up in the same house.
And the big thing people are like is like, oh, is this good or bad? I'm like, look, this is, first off, it's not going to affect the distribution at all. It's still Asmodee. It's still coming from China, so unfortunately for a lot of this stuff right now, it's going to be hard to get sometimes till this whole thing resolves. Between, trade wars, let's call it, and the pandemic, it's going to take some time. But from a rules standpoint, they also are moving some of the guys from FFG who do the miniatures games over to Atomic Mass Games,
Cool.
just to sort of bulk up what they've got. Because, their handful of staff can cover Marvel Crisis Protocol, but can they add a whole X-Wing and Armada and Legion? That'd be a lot to ask for.
My understanding is that Will is going to be moving into a creative director type role at Atomic Mass as well.
Yeah, I've not heard directly, but does not surprise me. I know and on the bad side, there is always a bad side. The lead, I guess their lead creative director or lead rules guy or one of the lead rule guys for Star Wars Legion, unfortunately got let go on Monday.
Yeah,
And
that's a bummer.
people are upset, but let me just say this. Please remember there's always stuff at a company going on that we don't know about.
Yeah,
There could be more to it. He's not going to say anything about it.
he's probably not allowed
He's
to.
going to paint it. Yeah, he's going to paint it in a. He's not going to go out of his way to not paint it negatively, but he's also not going to say anything about it because you don't do that. That's not how you do things.
Turns out the games industry is small, and burning the world down is no way to get your next job.
Yeah, we don't suggest it. Just be professional. You can say he did say in his Facebook post that he was unceremoniously fired, and I mean most firings are unceremonious. Sorry, that's sort of the way it is.
Should tell you about. Did I ever tell you the story how I found out that I had lost my job at Maltomeal?
No.
So I was heading into the plant man. Speaking of unceremonious,
Yeah.
so I was heading in to do an update for my my projects, and I was going into the plant director's office, and right in behind me came the HR manager and the HR generalist. And I go, what the heck are they doing here for a project update?
It was a project.
And I laughed and I said, man, if I didn't know better, I'd say you guys are getting ready to let me go. And then there was not a smile or anything, and I went, wow, you guys are gonna let me go. And sure enough, I was offered. I was given a three months severance pay, and said they were eliminating my job, and I was like, take this money and we will just move on and head our separate directions. And I went, okay, take my 3-4 months.
It's a hell of a thing.
We'll move on. And I was sad for about 90 minutes. And then I realized
And
they
that-
had done a tremendous favor for me.
Well,
So
that
anyway,
is better than my last job where the HR didn't even bother showing up to let me go.
that's below average.
Indeed. But is what it is.
Yep.
It's in the past. We don't worry about the past no more. Moving
Nah,
forward.
moving on.
All right, so we think it is good news because honestly, um, FFG has always been more of a board game company,
Yep.
and you can sort of tell the board game elements that sort of sneak their way into their miniatures games, which is why RuneQuest seemed a little off. It looked kind of cool, but it was a little off. It's because it's that board gamey element, and a little bit of that with Legion. That's why they have the all the cards and everything, and they weren't thinking about that, you know? They're like, we're going to put out this expansion. It's going to have cards for this expansion. Like, this is a miniature game, guys. We're not going to buy every expansion. We're not going to buy the Imperial expansions to get cards to use my Rebel fleet. And, I mean, they did eventually realize that, but it took them probably a little longer than it should have. They were looking at those sweet, sweet sales.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, I mean, as we well know, you have that a little bit in Marvel Crisis Protocol. You do. But it fits a little better in that because the way the game works. Since you can use everything with everything. There are not really, I mean, there are factions, but it's, you can use Captain America with the Red Skull, so you might end up purchasing it if you want it. So you have to weigh that from a game design. And now they've gone through and they made upgrade packs where you buy them for Legion, and you get all the cards, a whole bunch of the upgraded cards. So you don't have to go buy and stuff you don't need. And they're going to do that with Armada, and that was all decided a while ago. But it's going to be interesting to see what AMG does with it overall.
Sure. No, I mean it's good. I mean, I think that, you know, AMG has kind of always started. They've got a strong miniatures heritage.
Mm-hmm.
They've got. I mean, Will is a consummate rules guy. It's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can only be a positive thing, and I think it'll be great. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to change a lot of it. You're just going to get more miniature-focused guys working on the rules. And you can tell, like, Legion, I'd always said, was one of the best games out of the box, despite the fact that its line-of-sight rules were tragic in the first set. But you didn't let that bother you so much, you know? It's something that two gentlemen playing a game, or gentle people, could get by. And then they went, and obviously they got some miniature focusing, like, you need to do a little more with these. And they did. And now you're going to have guys who are even more interested. I like that they don't care about being abstract about it. It doesn't have to be real. Just, look, here's the rules. They're abstract to make ease of play. So, I mean, these guys have a ton of gaming experience on all levels, whether it be, you know, just the fun playing and the casual stuff, or the hardcore tournament stuff. I mean, Pagani does both. People think of Pagani only as, you know, the tournament guy, but talking to him a couple times on various interviews, he's a fun guy too. He knows what he's doing.
He's absolutely a fun guy. I honestly, I believe that he plays. His heart is in 100% the right place. He is he likes to have a good time, and you know, sometimes he likes to get competitive with it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Those two universes are not mutually exclusive.
As long as you can balance it.
Yep. And I think it's in a good place.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good place. It's going to be good to see. It's going to be good for the X-Wing guys who, you know, could probably use a little more miniature focus on what they're doing.
Yep.
X-Wing's always been kind of this half board, half minis game, and they could use a good miniature focus. Not that I'm saying the guys there didn't do a solid job. I mean, look at the sales on it.
Yep.
Solid job, people playing it, lots of fun. But, you know, it's also a good idea to have all you keep your divisions separate. You know, when you look at, like, why is our board game division working on these miniature games still? Well, we didn't have a miniature game division. Well, we do now. Let's go.
Furthermore, the card aspect of X-Wing was really a turnoff for me.
Yep.
Having having to have a bunch of different upgrades and all this kind of stuff, and while I can understand why a lot of people might like that customization angle, it was a turnoff for me.
It can be. I mean, the Legion one works better because there's so few of them. It's not like you've got, super analysis paralysis. There's only I think at most a dozen, and not all of them apply to everything. It likens more to, say, 40k war gear than any sort of other upgrades.
Okay.
Because you got to have this balance between variety in a unit and, overcomplication. Old 40k, you could nitpick and down to, oh, this guy's, got this and this and this and this, and it just got crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And then 40k's, even GW's, just nope. Let's take some other way. You can customize a little bit. Let's take the craziness away.
Remember back in War Machine when you used to be able to decide how big your units were on a person by person basis?
No.
Back in the day, you could add individual to it. So,
oh yeah. I mean, 40k was actually 40k is still like that though. Generally, you just take full units.
I think that was Mark II that you could still do that, but as soon as Mark III came along, for sure.
I think it was Mark. I played Mark II, so I think it was Mark I.
Okay.
Maybe remix.
Yeah, I had to go back and look at my old.
I remember seeing it on old cards when I got old cards, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy talk." But I mean, everyone's sort of gotten away from that.
Maybe it was like a minimum number, and then you could have,
it was a minimum number, and then you had up to the maximum number.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And the minimum was different than it ended up being in Mark II.
Yes.
It was like 4 or something. That's why some of the boxes were weird. But anyways, it's going to be good. They'll get it all ironed out. They'll get some balance in there because, I mean, Legion plays great for a game that, they took models that I like to use and literally dropped their points by a ton. Like, most of my armies went down in points a whole crap ton when they did their last points adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I didn't use all the stuff everyone else used. Shock. I liked it at that cost. I didn't like you made it cheaper. So, I mean, there's some room there for some more balancing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll see where they end up.
Yeah. I mean, especially since, Legion's one of those games I really like. It is, I mean, now, obviously, I'll play some 40k or Age of Sigmar, but aside from that, Legion is as big as I really, really want to go for any significant portion of time.
So, go ahead.
I was just saying because I can't do that many models anymore, John.
No, nor can I. My Riot Quest has cured me of ever wanting to paint anything more or less solos anymore.
Oh yeah. Marvel Crisis Protocol. You're like, everyone's different. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, as I was looking at Bamfist, I was like, man, you were so much fun to paint, and I look forward to never painting you again.
Yep. I kind of like that with Battletech too. Sure, I've got some duplicate models here, but mostly it's one-offs, maybe a two-off, and even then, you just paint the second one different a little bit.
Exactly. Hey, Frank the Tank mentioned Khador. Yeah, this is Khador for the sake of Colossal Wrestling. So I don't own any other Khador, and this guy's been sitting partially cooked on my shelf for a very long time. So I made a commitment to my son Charles that I would finish this guy off. So we're over the next, many shows, I'll be working on this guy. And
no, wouldn't paint it John if you didn't use a huge base model, huh?
What's that?
You didn't paint a huge base model. I wouldn't be painting without John.
Dude. But
I remember how this started.
Yeah. Started with Bullwinkle and ended with a hooch hauler. So what I'm going to do here is I'll work on this some until I'm tired of it, and then I'll work on something else. I'm not going to let this kill my soul the way the hooch hauler did.
I will always say that's the best way to do it. Like, if anyone follows me personally and sees my hobby streak, I'll always have a unit I'm working on, then something else just to paint on if I don't want to paint on the unit. Terrain or something like that. Something I can just chill out on and just, get some work done. Grind time, if you will, just so you don't get bored of anything.
Yep.
It's a much better way to do things.
Yep, and that's what we're trying to keep from losing my sanity on this, because I want to paint some shark teeth on them and make them look awesome and have some fun with them.
Absolutely. Hi, Ron Lore. And then Frank says, woohoo, Battletech. I do love Battletech. I blame
Hey, brother.
Necropiles, who isn't in here right now, for rekindling my love of Battletech. And, I mean, that's a good portion of my life right now, Battletech, which is cool. And then Legionnaires mentions, John, that he finds it interesting both of us are enjoying single models, and he started having fun with batch painting large block units again.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. You got to do what you got to
Yeah.
do.
It can go cyclical. There are times when I can get a unit out and just be like, yeah, color here, especially when you got your color scheme down.
Sure.
There's nothing like it because you're just like, I know what I'm doing. But when
Yeah.
you don't, you get through 7 men and go, I had to change one of those colors.
Yeah.
It's all right. They're painted. It'll be fine. I ain't going to sweat it. I think it'll be the first time I've painted a unit and then backed up and punted and had to go for a new unit. It's okay. Can't be afraid of stuff like that, guys. But that being said, it is also why you don't start with anything that's hard to replace.
Yeah.
Or super expensive. Always start with line units.
Bleh. Oh, God. This tooth looks terrible.
You can touch it up, man.
Gonna have to. Got no choice.
Okay.
Got no
Trust me,
choice.
coming from the master of touching stuff up, because I am not the neatest painter, far from it, it's all good. Just
Yeah.
never let it affect you mentally. Oh, I fucked it up. Let me just go sloppy. No. Keep going nice. One little mess up is easy to clean up. If you just go hog wild, then you're spending all this time cleaning up. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, just get it blocked in here. Get the way it's supposed to look, kind of, and then we'll get in here and we'll make all the lines beautiful and as best we can.
Yep.
But I can't say enough about this the white ink. It is such a joy to work with as compared to just like Morrow white or something like that. It flows really nice. It's gives you some time to work with it.
Mm-hmm. And Legionnaire says he thinks it's because I'm stealing paint schemes. It would be speed painting if I was painting faster. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing about paint schemes. Steal them, take them. I save pictures of models all the time on my computer. I'm like, I like that scheme. I don't know what I'm using it on, but I'm going to use it.
One of the nice things about painting a Riot Quest is that I go back in the fact that I have 5 factions. Is that, I eventually found some level of religion around what I wanted for my color schemes on my models.
Mhm.
And a lot of these models are either, minions models or merc models at their core. And so it some of the color schemes I'm just kind of picking up out of there. And then other ones it's like, well, like with Bamfist, he's a zoo model, so there's no real established color scheme there. So I just kind of went with, well, I think he would have stolen his arm from Khador. So I went with kind of a red and an olive color, and which is the color scheme I've always liked the most for Khador.
Yes, it's the best one.
And
No
actually,
offense to red or red and black, but
yep.
red and olive, well,
So
chef's kiss.
picked that one, and I kind of went with that. And then just, what the hell? It works for me.
So Legionnaires wants to know, is that the Daler Ronnie ink?
This is Daler Rowney. Yes, exactly.
Yep. There you go.
And I like it. It's the stuff that Pagani put on his Twitter that one time.
Well, my next project when I nail down. So luckily I had a test model or an extra model, quote unquote, to sort of mess around and put the green on. It's hard to see without some extra light. But light.
Ta-da. Nice.
We're coming along.
Yep.
I think they look the green better than the gray. It's better in pictures. Check out my Twitter or my Facebook for that. And as soon as I get that done, I might go with a lighter green. We'll see. I'm going to wash it anyways. I got a really good... it's actually nominally for vehicles. It's the green wash for vehicles from Vallejo.
Okay.
It's a model wash for green armor. Good Lord, it works good on everything. It's just... because it's very much stains too. It's a lot more like a diluted contrast paint
Got it.
more than just a plain wash. I love the way it looks on stuff. It does a good job. Very good, deep definition.
Cool, man.
It's very watery enough so that it gets into the cracks very well. It wants to flow there.
Oh yeah, you like to you want to float in the cracks. That's what I understand.
Absolutely. When I get that done, I think I've got my urban mech primed up. I won't show it to you because it's just a black blob. But being that it is the spirit animal or spirit mech of my unit, and MechWarrior Online, I'll paint that guy first.
Well, this is interesting. This part of the model must have gotten some oil or something on it because the paint's not adhering worth a shit.
Interesting.
It's like...
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like pooling up in little bits. So I guess we're just going to get some on here and then let it dry and have that act like
pull up too much. Get that off if you can.
What's that?
Get that off if you can. Don't let it pull up too much. Good Lord, that's crazy.
It's coming back. I can fix it.
I've seen it before, but
I can fix it in post-production. I'll just fix it with some other paint here in a little bit. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Fix it in post-production. Both sides are doing it, which is odd.
That is really odd. Because the sides work, the side portion of it worked fine, and then the front doesn't. That's really, really odd.
Yep, there's gonna be
Something must have gotten on there.
There's gonna be a significant amount of repaint on this one. I can fix it.
Yeah, it's all good.
How weird.
Yeah, really strange.
I wonder if when I've played with this, I mean, I have played with this model playing Colossal Wrestling. I'm wondering if it got picked up primarily by this portion of where it is.
Could be it's a good solid portion. You don't feel like you're going to mess anything up by putting your thumb there.
Yep, got a little finger grease on it.
Huh, so that's a good note, people. If you're worried about it, just take a nice wet paper towel and then just wash off the model before you go at it if it's been sitting for a while. But
yep,
I might do that with my. I have my Titan hiding back here behind all my Transformers, or not all my Transformers, but my Transformer collage, if you will. I need to work on soon. He's he's really close to. I don't know, done, but not necessarily done, but really close to tabletop.
Nice.
We'll get with him soon. You can't really see it over my shoulder too much.
No,
You kind of can, actually. You can see it's sort of the beginnings of my Transformers collage. Just a fun little display of them since I got a bunch of third-party bits in. It was super cool.
So this is going to be his eye, because all these shark mouths have eyes, and
of course,
and it's not doing the same thing. How
yeah,
odd.
that's really weird. So Legion says he's about to strip his galleon. He says Brent from Grubertown Hobbies tests a bunch of chemicals and found LA's totally awesome. Is great for stripping paint and mold release agent. Well, there you go. Good to know what works for what, because you will always need that information. I've actually found, and this is a weird one that I say a lot, and it might be pertinent to what you're doing there, John.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets too much, just get yourself a Q-tip and some acetone.
Gold acetone. Yep.
And just take it off, and then I use the other side of the Q-tip, dip it in water, and just denature it then, and then it's all good. Won't anything. Everyone's always worried they hear acetone or plastic. Like, it takes a while for acetone to eat plastic. It's not like immediate.
Yeah, I think this is just a matter of kind of coming back with the original swamp color here and just taking a very light, a small brush here and just cleaning it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like that green. That's a good green.
So what I'll do here is I'll just kind of pick this right here, and I'll just figure.
It's funny it didn't affect the red though. It's really funny it didn't do anything for the red there. You put.
Nope. It was fine.
Super, super odd.
Yeah. We'll get this.
He says the primer coat he tried never stayed good. I've had that problem before. I won a resin planet at a Battlefleet Gothic event at the local store, and we primed it because my ex wanted to paint that, and the primer just sort of flaked off. It was resin. I scrubbed it and then we primed it again. It flaked off again. It didn't actually stay good until I used the automotive primer. It was very weird. He just says BFG is a game that needs to come back. I would agree. I mean, I love Armada, but BFG was just simple enough for a game like that, for a space combat game.
I'm really surprised. I thought that when the Specialist games came back that would be one of the first things they'd bring back.
Well, so Let me tell you a story about Battlefield Gothic. There's a light cruiser in Battlefield Gothic that was never released.
Okay.
And the reason is because it kept ripping up molds.
Ah.
So now everything's plastic. And sure, they've got the Chaos ships and the Imperial ships in plastic, but then they got to do all the frigates in plastic, all the Eldar in plastic. That is a lot of money in plastic molds that they're still not sure is going to make their money back, even though at this point, if you can do Adeptus Titanicus,
one might think you should be able to do the other, yeah.
But I think people might balk at it because the price tag on Adeptus Titanicus is enough. And I said, nope, that's too much.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, it was a touch too much, and I mean that's saying something coming from guys like us with a little bit of disposable income.
So that cleaned up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got some more white to put over the top to get the color density right, but I mean, it's a solvable problem.
Oh yeah, and sometimes you just need to take it in little steps. I mean, if Hobby Shirk has taught me anything, it's that you can do things in little steps. It'll be all good.
Hey, how about this? The bottom isn't caught doing the same thing.
Strangest thing. I was going to blame 2020, but I'm stopping to blame 2020 for everything. I think that's part of why it became so shit so quick. We just kept blaming it like it was okay. No, just make it better. Stop worrying about it. Just make it better. That's what we all going to do. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's mostly small stuff. Sweat the big stuff. And we have this year. So
this is clearly I too much picking up front with a hand, because the further I get over to the side here, I'm actually getting the effect again.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
No, it's all good.
So it in the first layer here is acting like a primer. It's covering it up, so I'll get it here. The nice thing about the white ink is that because it's like so thin, it's not a big deal if you get a little extra in there, and it'll turn out fine.
Cool. Yeah, I get a couple where I occasionally get too much paint. My first test Legion guy has a little extra paint on him, so at a couple points is getting a little chonky. Not too much, a little detail starting to disappear, but it's all good.
Oh my god, this is gonna kill my soul.
No, you'll be all good, man. Just little by little. Just take it in bite-sized chunks.
Note to self: when you paint a model, finish painting the model.
I agree with that.
Before you start using it a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes you can't, though. Sometimes you just want to play, Especially, when everything starts to return to normal, we're going to be out playing games.
This is a true statement of fact that cannot be denied.
I'm not sure I'll be out, but there'll be people over here. We'll be playing. There'll be games played. Don't you worry. Games.
But I'll tell you, one of the biggest incentives to getting something painted is that you're going to use it in a game.
Yep. That's what I was doing. I'm painting Marvel Crisis Protocol. I played a couple games. Let's just paint these guys up.
Yeah.
And then once you start going, you're like, hey, I got Venom. Am I going to play Venom? I don't know. Fuck it. He's here. Paint him.
Yep.
Here's
Exactly.
Star-Lord. I got to play the Star-Lord? I don't know. Fuck it. Paint him.
And then you see him painted and you want to play with him.
You're like, yeah. I need to get Miles and Gwen and get the rest of the Spider team. I'm not a big Venom fan, but fuck. Make the team better. I'm all about theme. That's one thing I love about Marvel Crisis Protocol is you can theme if you want, but you don't have to.
Yeah. So right here, I lost a little bit of definition of where I wanted the actual teeth, so now I can go back with the green and kind of fix that up a touch.
Oh.
And I'll sharpen the lines with the red to kind of give it to make sure.
You're not going to blackline it?
I might. Blackline would actually be a really good idea.
And I would say hindsight, being 2020, you could have blacklined first, and then you got borders.
That is a
Years
good
of
point.
coloring books has taught us all. But hindsight, sorry to think of it beforehand.
That's fine.
You may blame me, sir.
No, blame us.
Just my
There's
great
no blame
shit.
to be had. It's just a different flavor of doing it. That's all.
Nah, that's all good.
But yeah. So anyway, we're getting there.
Yeah, getting there.
So what else we got going on here this week? What else we got to talk about? Talked about the controversial topic of atomic mass games.
Well, that's somewhat controversial, but I'm telling people, like, look, it's going to be good news. It's all good news. Don't you worry about it, folks. It's going to be good.
Yep. There, from a card standpoint, I understand the Fantasy Flight is still exists. They're going to focus in mostly on card games, which are their LCGs and Keyforge.
And their board games, because they make a ton of good board games. Not going to lie. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever not enjoyed an FFG board game.
There's a couple of them in that on that shelf behind me.
Yeah. They do good stuff, so that'd be cool. We'll see how that ends up. You know, I'd like maybe talk to Pagani at some point. I don't like to bug him, though, you know.
No, I understand. Are they? They're not doing their show anymore, are they?
I don't think so. I don't know what they're doing right now. I think a lot of things have gotten kind of on hold during quarantine. It's always weird when you see something with a collaboration during quarantine. You're like, oh shit. Was it Scott Kloppenstein from Real Big Fish did a Twitch stream with a bunch of his friends doing a music video for a song, which was super cool. Very fun, very geeky. I was very surprised to see a bunch of people there. You're like, oh shit.
Is Atomic Mass still based out of Seattle?
I believe so. Legionnaire says, I don't think Pagani and Dow's have done their show in months before the pandemic. It might just have been one of those didn't take off like they wanted it to. Twitch is hard.
Twitch is a fickle master.
Yeah, it's sometimes it might be hard to judge to justify the expense of it with the returns.
I will tell you that Painting with Menoth John was in the right place at the right time.
Yes. Nowadays, podcasts about everything.
Yep. There was podcasts. Every other podcast was tactics this, tactics that. We were the only ones that were talking hobby at the time.
Yeah, sure.
And the game was still plenty popular, and that helped things a ton.
I kind of want to pour a little out for my boys at Privateer Press because, man, if things had gone a little differently for them, you'd have been hearing them getting this as FFG's miniature division, not AMG.
Yeah, well, hubris is a bitch.
It is.
Hubris is a bitch.
I hope every company I want companies to look at what other companies did and learn from it.
Yep.
You know, because you don't want, you know, like we've always said, like when GW was doing terribly, you know, it started to make its rebound. A strong GW is good for the hobby. A solid PP being solid is good for the hobby because it's nipping at the heels of GW, keeping them on their game.
Keeps them honest.
And if you got the big guys being honest and keeping their shit together, then you got the little guys following suit because they can't not, or they get left behind.
Exactly. Kind of just putting some little bit of teeth here on the inner parts here that are having no problem taking the paint because, of course, they've never been touched before.
I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing now, John.
What's that?
Those two side torsos look like two gypsy heads.
Really?
Look at the side torso piece and imagine them like Gypsy's head from MST3K.
Oh yeah. Nope, I see it. I wasn't sure where you were going with Gypsy's head. I'm like, they look like someone from Romania? What is it?
Nope. That's not supposed to be a term you use anymore.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I just saw that because I was thinking like, oh, you could make each one like two shark heads, and each one has two eyes. And I'm like, wait, they have one eye. That looks like Gypsy.
Oh.
And that's where my head went because I'm a nerd.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
I have a new hire, and I told her because she's like, "Oh, you like Star Wars and Star Trek?" I'm like, "Yes." I will not hesitate to say that I am the biggest nerd of this building. It's the closest is another project manager, and she is very close. So she gets strong bad jokes. So I mean, hats off to her. But my width and breadth of nerddom is pretty large.
So I'm actually getting a lot happier with this.
Hmm.
We're still probably a few coats of ink away from having it just perfect. But you know, guys, that's the lesson to take away here is just persistence. You know, and like anything with paint, thin layers, and that's the beauty of the ink, is it gives you the ability to do the thin layers nicely.
And remember, you're always going to go to that point where you start off, it's primed, or it's got like just base colors. It's like, yeah. And then you start doing details, it starts to look like ass because you're not done.
Right.
It's okay. Don't judge it till you're done. Then you start knowing. That was my biggest problem. I'd get to that point and be like, oh, this is looking like crap. I'm a terrible painter. What the fuck am I doing here? And then I just started pushing through and it would all come together.
Yep.
And stuff would look, solid.
I am happy with progress up to this point
Yeah.
tonight. That was a lot of work, but I think it turned out pretty darn well.
Yeah.
And we got more work to do for sure. But I think after tonight's show, I'm going to put this aside for a little bit. It's going to stay on the painting table. But then I'm going to do a little bit of work on old Melvin and Mayhem here because I think he'll be super fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to take a page from my Mercs and do him up with the purples and grays and stuff like that I do with my Mercs. I think that'll work nice, especially when I color the Gobber nice and green. He'll pop out really nice.
Green and gray.
Yep.
That's legit.
I think it'll turn out to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're gonna call that good for tonight, and we're gonna start talking about movies and television and media in general, as we are wont to do on the Wednesday night extravaganza.
Yep.
And I'm gonna put my glasses back on so I can see. But Sharkface Conquest is coming along. And let me put up the media section as we are wont to do. And I'm going to start
When you
drinking.
get it done, you're going to call the big gun on top. You're going to call it the Sharknado cannon.
Oh, I like the cut of your jib on that one, buddy.
I'm just sure where my head goes with that.
There we go.
Well,
so
for media section, I think the first thing we should do, John, is pour a little out for our homie, Alex Trebek.
yeah, no doubt about it. I'll take Latits now, Alex, for 500. Anyway, so yeah, Alex Trebek, the head honcho for Jeopardy, basically the guy that put Jeopardy back on the map.
Back on the map, absolutely. The face of it, classy dude. Never in the news for anything bad, just always solid in there and doing his thing.
He's Canadian.
Witty, but not insulting to his players. Like, he could admonish them for not knowing something and not, like a Canadian, do it in such a nice way.
Yes, exactly. He was probably, I can't think of another game show host that can hold his jockstrap.
We talked, Lewis, about this on Sunday, just me and Kathy, about the Rushmore of game show hosts.
Well, I think you have Monty Hall, Bob Barker,
2 for 2,
and Alex Trebek,
3 for 3. Number 4 is tough.
The fourth one is probably the guy that Wink Martindale or
Wink Martindale was listed. The fourth one was always tough. Or if someone said at Sajak, I don't have a case for not including him, but I feel like he's just below, like Hall of Fame, absolutely, but not quite there.
Probably the guy for the original host of Family Feud. God, he used to be on Hogan's Heroes.
I should remember his name. It's not right now. The one who was in the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Running Man.
Yeah. So what was the fourth one?
We didn't actually go with the fourth one. A lot of ones like went through a lot of them. Someone like Chuck Barris, maybe.
No, can't give it to him.
Okay.
I can't with good conscience put him. I mean, somebody in the chat. We got 6 people in the chat room, 2 of which are John and I. Between the 4 of you, do me a favor and look up Family Feud and then look up original host, because I gotta tell you, I think one of the qualities that gets you up on Mount Rushmore is that you build a franchise that others then can gravy train off of. Because if you look at Price is Right, it went on to being with Drew Carey.
Richard Dawson.
Richard Dawson also set the precedent that host has to be this like ridiculous walking up and kissing and getting all up in people's shit host. He was kind of a lech, but kind of a cheerful way. I can't give it to. The only way Pat Sajak gets on the mountain is if Vanna White is also on the mountain next to him, which I'm not against.
As a team, holy crap, yeah.
I think that if you put those 2 up, if you could do that, if you could have her and him together, boom, I think it's all over with. Pat Sajak, not the original host of Wheel of Fortune. That would be Chuck Woolery's gig.
Chuck Woolery is also another one where you're like, ugh.
Fuck that guy. No, fuck that guy. He loses on being a terrible human being.
So there you go. I mean, there's our talk about that. That 4th spot's very contested. I can give it to Richard Dawson. There's a lot of contested people there.
Yeah, I think. But trying to think, who else could possibly be there?
I love that the first 3 we go through pretty easily, and everyone's pretty much in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, Let's Make a Deal is truly one of the classics. Bob Eubank has something to say about this. I think with the dating game and not the dating game, but the Newlywed Game. I think the Newlywed Game is a game show that made a different genre. I think it's in the same group with Hollywood Squares, the host of Hollywood Squares, who was I don't know. But those were game shows that weren't really game shows. They were more opportunities for comedy.
Indeed.
And that's something to note as far as a groundbreaking kind of a thing.
Well, Hollywood Squares definitely doesn't have like a host. There's a lot of people who are there for.
That's why Paul Lynde probably deserves to be. If it was going to be, Paul, if there was a Mount Rushmore of game show. Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I mean, 1980s Press Your Luck, no whammies, big bucks. Yeah, I get it. I'm there with you a little bit, Legionnaires. I just don't think it's the classic that.
He's another Hall of Fame, but not quite the Rushmore.
Yeah. Who am I kidding? It was the Whammies. Yeah, you're not wrong. The Whammies were the star of that show.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I could keep on going. The $20,000 Pyramid was also a really solid show for its day, where you had that sort of kind of password style game show that was copied.
That good game show. It had the right mix of game show with celebrity comedy.
Yeah. Yep.
Unlike something like the Gong Show, which I love, but that was much more comedy.
It was more or less a variety show almost. You could make a strong case that the Gong Show was more of an Ed Sullivan style show.
Sure.
An irreverent, completely bullshit version of Ed Sullivan. But we all still remember Gene the Dancing Machine, don't we? And we all remember the unknown comic. And people like that. So
let's right now, Alex Trebek. Ron.
That might be one of the better media section topics we've had in a couple of shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we get the Rushmore and you get 3 and you got contest for the 4th, it gets interesting real quick.
I think
there's a lot of stuff we Rushmore. There's just so much personal. Oh yeah, I can see that. It's personal preference. This is it's that last spot. It's a out and out fight.
I feel like we could add Rushmoring as a regular section.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I think that'd be fun. We could claim that as a thing. So, we do this show every other week. By the way, guys, a little programming note that we need to talk about. John's life is about to turn into a big ball of shit. And by John, I mean catbird seat. That guy.
That being said, it's only likely one episode will be affected, because after that I should be able to be home, and it just might be us starting at 8 on the dot. Because I can come in a little early. There's a spoiler. What I do for work that takes till 8, almost never do we get anyone, and Wednesday is the least busy day. I just have to be available till 8.
Okay. We have a contingency plan, John. So, guys, one of the things that we've been kind of kicking around that we haven't talked a whole lot about is we are putting the band back together to a certain extent. I am going to be running a homeworld-based RPG series. And the plan is to stream the show here on the Painting with Menoth John Twitch stream here at twitch.tv/MenothJohn. For those of you who don't know what Homeworld, Mothership, I apologize, Mothership is, it's basically non-IP infringing Alien. So it's a very simple system. It's a lot of D10s, a lot of percentile dice, and things like that. I will be the GM. Joining us on this adventure will be, you know him, you love him. You know him as Beer Machine Rich. He'll be in there. We will have also along with us the best stash in the business, Dan VK, who I have decided to be I am being the DM so that he can play in an RPG for a change. Also joining us, you know him, you love him. He's a regular brushhead. You know him as Brett Painter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, John, when John was unable to join us, maybe we work you in as an NPC when you have an opportunity.
I gotta say, if you're gonna get someone to take my spot, Brett Painter has my blessing.
Yes. So he will be joining us. And and also, you know him because of his love of rare items. Adam Vogel has moved back to Buffalo from out west, and he will be joining us as a part of the crew for the Mothership. And there's one more very, very special member of the crew that we're not going to talk about. You're going to have to tune in to find out who it is and what their role is going to be in the show. So
I'm sick of Pickles the cat.
It is not Pickles the cat. This is Pickles the cat may have a role, but they will not be a speaking role. This will be a speaking role. So it's going to be very exciting, very, 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 she. You want to be here, and it's going to be a very interesting adventure. I've got a good one planned for it. I think you're going to want to tune in, and we'll keep on advertising. But it's going to be Mothership, and all will be revealed in the next few weeks. I've got to kind of get things spun up here with the kids. Probably the first Wednesday in December, we will probably do the character creation. And we'll juggle the schedule here on the Painting with Menoth John extravaganza. That, I think, was going to be a Painting with Menoth John show the first week in December?
Yes.
Okay. What's your schedule like, John, or should I shift it to the following Wednesday? Because I've got Belinda Librarian queued up to not see me on Wednesdays anymore.
Do whatever you need to do. If we need to skip an extra week and go to the 9th, because honestly, we're going to be right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If we go 2 weeks in a row, and that might not be the best idea.
No,
so
I don't want to do that.
Second. Do it on the 2nd, and then we'll reconvene on the 9th. That's fine. That's before everything goes nuts.
All right, so there, it's out on the internet now. That means it's record. It can't be disputed. Not even Rudy Giuliani could mount a legal argument against this anymore.
What the fuck happened to that guy?
I think he's got syphilis.
Because literally, there was a point right after he was, was it mayor? Governor, whatever. He could have run for higher office, and he'd have gotten it.
Yeah. Well, he did run for president at one point, but didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, but he's just self-destructive. I don't know what this guy...
I think he's got syphilis. I think he's mad as a hatter. I don't... I mean, you look at his mannerisms, he's mad as a hatter.
I don't even know.
I don't want to.
Like, this is not even political. This is like, what's wrong with that guy? There's something wrong with that guy. Like,
he's just mad as a hatter. So we'll do character creation on December 2nd. Please tune in. It'll be amazing.
I mean, I may just.
What's that?
I may just tune in.
Yeah, you tune in. You could join us and just kind of provide commentary. I don't care. Mothership is available on Drive-Thru RPG. It's $7 if you're interested. It's really cheap.
$7. Support them.
It's one of those. It's actually a pay whatever you want, but they suggest $7, so I give them $7. And get on over there, download it down, make it some. It's wonderful. It's not so many pages. It's a very simple system. Hope you all can join us here on the mothership. Something that was it? The P-Funk All-Stars would be behind. George Clinton. We may play a little Atomic Dog. You don't know what we're gonna do. Anyway, but yeah, I'll take a spin. I'm not the world's greatest DM. I'm gonna do the best job I can. Need your patience. Need you to. But we're gonna roll dice and have fun and talk in funny accents and.
Just don't compare him to that other guy on Twitch from that stream that's really popular, whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, Critical Role.
Yes, Critical Role.
No, those guys are professionals.
Those guys are great. They're wonderful. Don't compare your regular GM to them.
No, and Dan Vanderkoy is an amazing GM, and I hope to do a decent job. I have done some DMing for my family adventure, so I'm not a complete rookie, but my goal is I got to carve the time out to prepare to make sure that when they toss me a curveball that I can react properly. But we'll get the plan on December 2nd just being character creation. It's got a very interesting character creation system. It'll be a lot of fun to go through it with the gang of idiots. If anything changes, highly recommend you watch for things on the Painting with Men Author John Facebook site. We're also I'm building a site for the RPG, but I think it's going to be just for players. So,
there's a campaign site that's free to use. You might want to look at. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I haven't used it in a very long time. When we're running our D&D, we had it. You can make it so that your players can update part of it. You can update part of it. It's very cool. I'll see if I can find that and send that to you.
Yeah, John, that'd be fantastic if you could do that. I'd appreciate it very much. I would like to talk about movies, though, real quick.
Oh, sure. You're talking about movies? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I watched a movie that many people have watched, but I had not watched before, and that is The Shawshank Redemption.
I have not seen it either.
I am here to tell you today, John, that you should watch this movie. Wow. There's 2020 is a big ball of shit. It really is. It's just a bad year. People talk about, oh, this year's so bad. Oh, the hell with this year. Bullshit. 2020 is just a bad fucking year. This is legit the year you can point at and go, that there was 365 days that could just not exist and it would be better. Okay? Yep. So, The Shawshank Redemption is a positive movie. It is based upon a short story by Stephen King. Mm-hmm. I would make a strong argument it is the best Stephen King adapted story ever put to film.
Okay.
It stars Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. It's a pretty good place to start.
Yep.
It takes place in a southern prison. Tim Robbins is accused and convicted of murdering his wife, who was having an affair with a golf pro. And it lands Tim Robbins in a old school southern prison, circa 1940 late, early maybe 1950, and it is all the brutality you expect out of a southern prison, and it is one of the most feel-good movies I have watched in a long time. By the end of it, you will be cheering for these guys. Confirms my desire to never go to prison.
Fair.
And it is, I think that in a year that is so emotionally challenging, it's inspiring even if they're fictional characters, to see them go through such adversity and and it is not unrealistic that they could come out the other side changed and better people.
Mhm.
And I think that is the strength of this movie. I wish I had seen it 20 years ago because I probably would have watched it 6 times by now.
Fair enough.
It is it's well acted, it's well written, it's shot beautifully. It captures the stark nature of old school prisons and how much money was put into the architecture and building of these castles whose only reason to exist was to punish. And that in and of itself I think is a commentary in that, you know, we have all the money in the world to punish, but not the money to build up. And that's sad.
Yes.
That's really sad. And I think that's one of the things they're trying to get across in this movie. And that even against all those odds, the human spirit triumphs. And I think that is the real message from the Shawshank Redemption. So I recommend it. I honestly give this 0 shots of Kraken.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Because this is a movie that should be appreciated at every level. You don't want to. A lot of times I'll toss a shot of Kraken onto a movie. Oh shit, it's fun. It's brainless fun. Just, you know, have a whoop and get after it. Not this movie. 0 shots of Kraken. One of the best movies I have ever watched. Probably top 5. So highly recommend it. Get out there. $3.99 on your Amazons. Get her done.
Well, my movie is not that.
Fair enough.
Apparently my alarm didn't work, and I forgot to cancel my Stars free week, so I paid for it for a month, which is not a big deal. It's like less than $10. Who fucking cares?
Yep.
So I'm like, if I got it for a month, let's find a movie on Stars to watch. So I watched a movie, little known Vin Diesel movie from recently called Bloodshot.
Never heard of it.
Ostensibly based off a comic book that you should not have also ever heard of.
Never heard of that either.
It's from Valiant Comics, who you should also not have ever heard of.
I see where this is going.
Yes. So the whole concept is Vin Diesel is, of course, he's a special forces, best of the best with honor, sir. And he, gets on a mission, comes back and hang out with his wife, and then they both get captured, and the bad guy kills her and kills him.
Like you do.
Like you do. He wakes up, and you've got what's his name? Played Aldrich Killian in Guy Pearce.
Okay.
Is the scientist who helps wake him up, and like, oh look, we've done this thing, we've generated your body, but Vin Diesel doesn't remember anything. So he goes through, shows all these other people who are, there's a Navy diver who was in some sort of conflict and lost her lungs, so she's got this prosthetic breathing device that's built into her, cybernetic. A guy who lost his legs in a landmine, he's got cybernetic legs. A guy who lost his eyesight, so now he's got this thing he wears that connects to him and gives him sight. It shows all stuff like, it's just the next experiment in the group, if you will. But, it's like a buff thing. Like, we're making these guys better. We're healing them. It's all good. You're like, oh, this is cool. And then he starts to remember his stuff as he, gets there. And he figures out that he's super strong and he's super tough. The nanites in him heal him, because nanites are the buzzword.
That's what they do.
And he starts to remember, so he goes off to kill the bad guy. And then it gets a little weird, because the bad guy, who was like this, he had this whole scene where he's dancing at them, listening to the Talking Heads Psycho Killer.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me!
No.
They're doing a Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah, and then you get him. He just seems like some sort of nerd. He's like sitting in the back of a car being picked up by mercenaries. I'm like, this doesn't jive. And then you find out the thing after he's done killing him, that they're wiping his memory and sending him out after all of the people who've left their company. They're using him as an assassin. Oh yeah, that cliche. And the female lead, who is the Navy diver, isn't interested in doing it anymore. Of course. And it's kind of there. And he's going off and stuff. You're like, it's standard action stuff. You're like, is it competent? Absolutely competent. But then they add, let me find the actor's name, because honestly, at the point this guy enters the movie, it becomes a lot better.
Okay.
They add a guy who's like a techie guy, and he's helping out the last guy he has to murder, and it's Morris, who plays Wilford Wiggins in the movie, who's a tech guy, and he's got so much character, British accent. He's just
steals the whole movie, huh?
He steals every scene he's in by his wit. He makes the movie more fun by being there.
Fun's important.
He brings out the fun. Vin Diesel's much better when he has someone to play off of, and he plays off of him well. He's more serious and Vin Diesel-y. And then this guy is a lot more fun, and it becomes just so much more fun. He's helping him, like, I freed you, they can't take control of you and all that. There's a couple more fight scenes. It ends, of course, with them infiltrating the series. The woman doesn't want to do it anymore, helps them break free, and you get final conflict.
Sure. Boss battle. Got it.
Yeah, boss battle. So, overall, it's a serviceable movie. It's not great.
No.
It's not terrible. It is pretty much the epitome of what I would call the average competent action movie. It's about a 2 shots of Kraken.
Cool.
Maybe 2.5. If you're bored, you got it for free. You can watch it. You'll enjoy it.
Yep.
Call them on to emote once in a while. Vin Diesel can emote.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're not gonna get any great shakes out of it.
You totally signed up to watch a Vin Diesel movie, so
yep.
You got it.
It is lower than Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, no worries. So I got one other show to talk about, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And it is it's a 6 or 8 episode series called Truth Seekers.
Oh, okay.
And it stars Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, who did the, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, the Three Flavors, whatever the fuck.
The Cornetto trilogy, yeah.
Yeah. And I like both of them very, very much. And this is it's a movie, it's a television miniseries, essentially, where Nick Frost is a Wi-Fi installer for a company called Smile, and who's very interested in the paranormal. And he and his deceased wife were both into the paranormal. And when the action starts at the beginning of the show, he is hooked up with a new apprentice installer named Elton John. And it is I don't want to give anything away, but it's kind of the he's got a YouTube channel. He's producing YouTubes about the paranormal called Truth Seekers.
Why does it sound like it eventually becomes Chickens in the Mist?
No, it doesn't. It's actually got a really good, suspenseful, almost X-File-ish kind of an overarching story that goes across all of the episodes. It's well written. The characters grow.
Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, those guys are good at what they do.
They are exceptionally good at what they do. Their supporting cast is quite pleasant. There's a lot of kind of like little things you notice as you're going along, like the fact that everybody's wearing the same goddamn clothes all the time. And also Malcolm McDowell's in it too.
Oh, Malcolm McDowell, shit.
Yeah, it's got a great cast. It's just long enough. It's not too long. There's you genuinely care about the characters, which is something that you should always strive for. It really hit a lot of buttons to the point where, Charles and Belinda and I watched this show, and we ended up marathoning the last 3 episodes in a row because we enjoyed it so much.
Awesome.
Each episode is, I think it's only 30 minutes long, each one. So it's little digestible tablets, and it's very well done. Highly recommend it. Truth Seekers. It's on your Amazon's Prime. Give it a shot. What do you got to lose? You already got the Amazon Primes, probably. Go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Shit.
Yeah,
That sounds good. I'll put it on my list.
yep. It's definitely worth it. It's way better than your experience with the Clone Wars.
Speaking of the Clone Wars, I'm going to hook up my second monitor for this late shifts I'm going to have to do. And as long as it's not busy, and it won't be most nights, I'm going to watch Clone Wars while I'm working.
Little Bird told me that you've been watching some Rebels.
I've not watched Rebels, actually.
Oh, I thought you'd been watching some Rebels. I thought I saw something where I'd happened upon the Facebooks, and I thought I saw you comment on a thread that Jay Larson, or maybe it was the Twitters.
It was the Twitters, because Jay Larson's not on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've seen the first season of Rebels.
Okay.
I saw it years ago, so I was commenting on that, yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm looking forward to rewatching Rebels, I'll be honest. But, no, Clone Wars, from what everyone tells me, I'm getting to the good part.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mandalorian this week got to Bo-Katan.
Luckily, I understand the references, because I've at least seen a bit of that, and I have an idea what's going on.
I lost my shit. I lost my shit when Bo-Katan, when I saw that Mandalorian helmet, I lost my shit.
I was pleased with the first episode of Mandalorian. The second episode was okay. I think it may have been the weakest episode they've had, but still perfectly okay. Like, not bad by any stretch. And then this last one was great.
Yeah.
So I would like to see people stop just fucking with Mando, like, oh, you killed my brother. Like, yeah, what the fuck do you think's going to happen to you? Like, literally, are you all stupid?
Legionnaires, you're spot on. Same thing I was thinking every time.
Oh my god,
little Yoda rolled up on it.
Man, like, I'll be honest, like the Twitters exploded a little about that. People were up in arms about that. I'm like, calm your Slayer roll, Jesus Christ.
There were in this last episode. First off, when Katie Sackhoff takes her helmet off and she's Bo-Katan, it's like, holy fuck, she's perfect. It's like this is the best casting that's ever happened. She is a perfect Bo-Katan.
Second best. Donald Glover as Lando.
Fair enough. I think Donald Glover is a believable Lando.
I thought he was great.
Yeah, I really liked it. Anyway, no, I'm talking about like in The Mandalorian.
Let's not spoil anything. Leisure hasn't seen it yet.
Yep. So we're not going to talk about spoilers, but Katie Sackhoff plays one of my favorite strong female characters in the Rebels universe, because she's introduced in Rebels, and Bo-Katan is strong and awesome, and Katie Sackhoff is the perfect person to play her.
Yep.
And
I'd see she's getting more roles. There was a period there where she got some here or there, and this was not panning out for her.
Yeah. Nope. She's this is a good role for her. And we're not going to go. And then, okay, there's a ship in that episode that when it's taking off, I lost my shit because it's one of the TIE fighter carriers.
Yeah, the Gazante.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck yeah, and they did a beautiful job of rendering it.
Yeah,
the rendering in the episode of the ships is amazing.
Regardless of what else they're doing, they're bringing everything together in such a great way.
Yep.
Like, we'll take some bits from here, some stuff you saw, just describe it all together. Makes it feel like it's part of the universe.
Oh, you mean Dave Filoni is part of the people driving the bus? Imagine that.
Well, I am going to say, I like Dave Filoni's jib mostly. He is also responsible for the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars wasn't exactly great for the first 3.5 seasons, let's say.
In Dave Filoni, we trust. Because what you're getting into, a guy can start slow and hit his stride. And
well, I'll be honest, it's like we say with, what's his name? The other guy in charge, directed Iron Man. My brain's not working.
The same guy that's involved in The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Oh, God. What's his fuck from Swingers?
Yeah, Jon Favreau. Thank you.
Jon Favreau. Thank you. Yeah.
Even he's not perfect. Not everything he does is the greatest.
No human is.
No human is. But, like I said, I see enough in Clone Wars that I was like, okay, I can see the feelings, and I can see he learned, because you can see they're learning the lesson of what they did wrong with Clone Wars, which I don't think is his fault at all. I think it's purely old Lucasfilm. This is what we want, and
Yeah.
it's not what it needed to be. But
Yep. I'm actually.
let's see, we got some more. Go ahead.
I actually am looking for. I got to sit down. I want to rewatch Rebels again because Rebels is just good. And
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to it.
there's
again.
there's a couple characters in Rebels that I'm pretty sure are coming back, and I am fucking psyched. I will lose my shit when they show up on screen.
Well, look, just my memory review of Rebels season 1 was it was still for kids, but it did it the right way because they didn't make any of the mistakes that Clone Wars has made here. So
Yeah.
that is good, and learning is super good.
Yep.
Let's talk a little more. Did you hear, John? Did you know
John, no, I'm not sure if I was aware.
the Wonder Woman 1984 is actually releasing Christmas Day in theaters, and I think on HBO Max as well.
HBO Max, you say?
Yeah, that is what I hear. I'm not going to guarantee it. It's probably, if you do, it's probably something you have to pay for. Oh no, it's trending with it. Let us see real quick. Yep, we're heading to HBO Max and movie theaters on the same day, per Variety magazine.
They're not going to try and do the Mulan model where they hit you for an extra charge just to watch it, are they?
I don't think so. I don't know.
HBO Max is the best upgrade of a streaming service I've ever seen. When you
I
look
think
at,
they're just counting on the fact that they're going to get people like Game of Thrones to just get HBO Max for a month because of it and try and make their money that way.
HBO Max has probably the most solid movie-to-movie lineup of any streaming service right now.
Yeah, but apparently they're not fighting well against Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus,
Interesting.
and this will give them something to fight.
Yeah,
This will give them some ammo.
that's cool.
Well, plus if they keep putting the DC stuff on there, that's a good tentpole for them because that gives them, like, because I hear that Doom Patrol is crazy and needs to be seen to be believed, and that some of those stuff has its place. So
Doom Patrol.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Doom Patrol. It's a old comic book. It's a very quirky, weird comic book.
Cool. I tell you, I ended up watching the end of The Boys.
No, you didn't tell me. I have not. It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be my thing.
It ended better than I expected.
Okay.
It was goddamn dark. Holy shitballs, it was dark. But, you know, my requirement is that there's a happy ending. And The Boys isn't completely happy, but there's enough comeuppance to pull me through.
I don't need happy. I need hopeful ending.
Yeah. I
Like-
think
Well, something like, even though we know where it's going, something like, what the fuck is it? Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's a hopeful ending, not necessarily a happy ending. Because let's be honest, spoiler,
Everybody's
all
dead.
of the leads died.
Yeah. Oh man, that is the most nihilistic movie I've ever really enjoyed. Because
But-
you know that they succeeded even in their loss.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, Rogue One is fantastic. The I enough good happened to the right people for me to end up actually having enjoyed. Glad that I watched The Boys.
Awesome.
God damn, it was hard to look at though sometimes.
Yeah, I don't really want anything like that right now. I'm just enjoying watching random shit. Like, for all of its faults, Bloodshot was an amusing time.
I will tell you that it is easier to watch The Boys post-election than it was
Pretty much.
during.
Yeah, well.
Oofda Mia.
But I want to point out that, if you're interested in Wonder Woman 1984, stream it, get HBO Max, put your money where your mouth is, because this will pave the way for what's coming.
Yeah.
A guy here on, and this really hit me, I have my page on Twitter stuck here. The gentleman says, please stop daydreaming about better days for theaters and start talking about new ways to watch movies in a changing landscape. There's a point where optimism bleeds over into numb faith. The decision regarding Wonder Woman 84 is reflective of our changing reality. And it really is. It's going to change how we watch movies. And if we get more stuff like Bill and Ted's Chase the Music, that did solid from what I understand, and you get if Wonder Woman 1984 does solid, you start getting more movies. Maybe then Marvel/Disney puts out Black Widow, because we can't keep getting this backlog of movies because no one's going to watch them all. They'll
Right.
all be, shit in the theater because no one's going to watch them. No, we're not going to have time to watch it all. We need to find new ways to watch the movies, and maybe they start cutting a little money off how much it costs to make them. Maybe they slow down on the advertising. Maybe, whatever, and they start putting them out on these streaming services.
Yeah.
They can all find their niche. I mean, obviously, we got Disney Plus. If Disney Plus will do it without, I'll be honest, the gouging for Mulan, while I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, it's a little much.
Had the movie been better, it may have been more acceptable. But the movie itself was just hot garbage, and then to charge a night out at the movies for a family, you can't charge the same amount because it is not the same experience.
True. But on the bright side, they do own that movie. But honestly, it would have been on Amazon, it would have been on Disney Plus for free eventually.
Yeah.
The only time it was really good for those kids who love to watch it and want to watch it right again immediately, just click it again.
Yeah.
So there's a balancing there. I don't know where that number is.
Yep, I don't know either,
But
because
I don't think they had the number. I think they were a little high.
that's above my pay grade to figure that shit out. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you should be setting that price point. It feels like for it to be sort of have the right kind of traction, somewhere in the neighborhood of what a couple might pay to go to the movies. So
let's say a couple. I mean, good lord, what's a couple like? $25 without everything else,
which gets you pretty close to what they were asking to charge, which was about $35, right?
Yes, I feel like they're a little much. I feel like they're like, we should charge this. No, knock $5 off that. I think they've been okay.
I think if they had brought it in at $19.95 or at $20, they would have had an entirely different reaction.
Maybe even 25 at a max. I think it's 25. I mean, that's the cost of a first run Blu-ray, and you've got it right there on your screen.
Yeah.
On your screen, maybe.
They should have at the very least done some small focus grouping, where they put some different price points, and I'm not saying they didn't, but they should have done something around there to try to do some sensitivity testing around that price point. But anyway, John, That's the end of a goddamn show. I got to tell you
it
that.
Is.
So I'm gonna cue the music.
Cue the music. Hit the button, Frank.
Get it up on here. So on behalf of John and I, Legionnaires, you're here. Hot damn, thank you. On behalf of all of the virologists and all the people who are attempting to give us our lives back, Ron. But we'll be back. Well, the channel will be back in 2 weeks on December 2nd, however many weeks that is, 2 or 3, whatever. We'll be back doing character creation for Mothership. Hope you'll plan to check us out. In the meantime, we may do some little pop-up things. I may paint, put the camera on, who knows what I'll do, listen to some fucking music and get copyright slammed. Whatever. Get copyright slammed anyway. So on behalf of your dream team, I'm Menoth John. That's John Spencer up in the catbird seat. You know us, you love us. We'll be back in a couple weeks, folks, or whenever we're coming back. Good night, everybody.
Good night. And to all you guys making those wonderful election memes, Ron.
Woohoo! Good night, everybody.